Now to more breaking news tonight, a pursuit in a stolen vehicle in the valley. Let's go up to Desmond Shaw, live in SkyCal. Desmond, a unique one here. What's he pulling?
Yeah, it looks like he's pulling a trailer right here that might belong to like a portable coffee restaurant or something like that. So this is someone's livelihood that we believe was stolen. LAPD is calling this armed robbery carjacking. So there was a weapon used. They have not said what they believe that weapon was, if it was a gun, a knife, or something else. But this may have happened very, very recently. And, I mean, we've seen, big rigs and U-Hauls and all those kinds of things, but now we've got a heavy-duty truck that is towing this trailer. One of the tires on the trailer may be bad already. We're going to try to get to the other side when we're able to. We're dealing with Burbank airspace right now, but I noticed a lot of smoke coming out from the back of one of the tires on that trailer, which is going to make things a lot more precarious for this suspect. It's going 60 miles an hour. I mean, we've got a lot of weight in the front and the back of this configuration with this vehicle, and we'll see how capable this person is of driving something, towing this, and what that's capable of doing. I mean, it could end up fishtailing all over the place if they take a turn really quickly or something as we come over to this side. So this started with LAPD's Foothill Division. We're making our way, though, down towards North Hollywood and Studio City. And, pursuit of a stolen, it looks like a coffee cart here, one being towed by a big pickup truck.
Yeah, we're looking at it right there on Whitsett Avenue and Kittredge Street. Valley Glen, as you mentioned, Desmond, not too far from Studio City here. And, of course, the big concern when we see these pursuits of a truck, as you said, of this size, hauling, basically a kitchen behind it, is just how difficult it is going to be to maneuver it, to try to get away. And here he is at a stop sign. It looks at a stoplight, it seems like.
We are stopped, and now that we got to this side, this is the person we've seen, Juan, that the rear door here is open. It is completely open. So, you could have a lot of stuff jiggling around in there, rolling all over the place, could end up falling out of this, which could pose some other hazards. We'll see. So it's not clear if this coffee cart was in operation and this was taken out from under the person, or if they were done for the day, or what the exact circumstances are of this. But LAPD is calling this an armed grand theft auto. And so, again, obviously very concerned that the driver of this vehicle is armed and dangerous. As we get a look at the passenger side here really quickly, we don't see anyone in the passenger seat, so we may just have the driver, the one suspect in this vehicle right now. We'll see how LAPD is going to handle this. Obviously, a pit maneuver is out of the question. Right. Maybe spike strips at some point, or just hope that the driver, runs into a dead end or something like that. I mean, working in LAPD's favor, obviously something that is not very maneuverable and takes up a lot of space, but that is also making it very dangerous for the public there. As we see LAPD's chopper there in the shot, so you can see that they do have this covered from the ground and the air right now.
Yeah, 75 miles an hour right now. Very dangerous, Desmond, as we see right here. Now, we see the night sun from above. Are there units behind this truck?
Yes, there they are. We had not heard about... Yeah, so I believe this is an active pursuit. We haven't heard about tracking mode or anything. I mean, we know that that's an increasingly common thing that LAPD has been doing in more recent times, where they back off of something. But, we're talking about someone that's armed and dangerous, and they're driving, kind of a weird vehicle very dangerously. So this is definitely one that they're going to want to try to, stop and hopefully not let go. They shouldn't have any trouble keeping up with the vehicle, that's for sure, as we make the turn now onto the Orange Line busway. We are, so actually we're on Chandler. This is that section where Chandler kind of shares the road with the Orange Line, although, I think he's driving on the Orange Line itself. So that's another pretty serious charge right now. So he's going to have this whole roadway to himself unless he has any buses kind of obscured by the trees at the moment as we're making our way towards North Hollywood, right through that red light right there. So this is where it gets really dangerous, because this is a really, really large intersection. And the last thing you're going to be doing if you're crossing the street is expecting some maniac towing a coffee cart to be coming out, blasting through the red light of the Orange Line. So really worried about, possible T-bone collision or something if this continues like this.
Yeah, it's my big concern, Desmond. I've actually ridden my bike along that bikeway there, and the concern is it's the buses that kind of trigger the traffic lights as it's going through there. Otherwise, it's pretty much free and clear. So if
according to their own concerns, their own words, they have to deal with that. They were dealing with a Burbank airspace just a few minutes ago, and then pursuit has been going on This pursuit's been going on for about 5 or 10 minutes. We see the driver speeding up. The driver eventually picking up speeds at 55, 60 miles an hour. Oh my God! The ambulance stopped right there while they were taking somebody to the hospital. And as I can see, he's making a wide turn. If he picks up speed, he could lose control and not gonna have enough traction not gonna have enough control over that trailer. He was crossing underneath the 170 freeway. Wow! Oh my God! And then it started with a coffee trailer happened moments ago. It was a coffee business trailer towed by a big pickup truck in a Chevy Silverado. I could tell you that. No. We're not doing that. It was a suspect that was wanted for alleged carjacking. I could tell. It wanted for a robbery. They had a reason to believe the suspect was armed, stole a coffee vendor trailer. And I want to tell you, this driver eventually speeding up, and all those kinds of businesses. You see, nobody's in front of that traffic. Oh my God, he did it himself. He did it to himself. And I can tell you right now, that suspect cannot go anywhere. He's done. We could tell the right door was open, the right second flat tire, the right side, rear. It's like tow mode. When you're hauling mode, you have to slow down and turn right and drive slow with a trailer. And we know who the suspect was. He was armed and dangerous. When you have so many lights and traffic, when they're on their way home from work or on their way home from their vacation, from a camping trip vacation, or from a road trip, everything stops. And the suspect has stopped at a red light, and we might know why he was on the run from the police for a while. We know for the fact that this is where their main concerns is, that he could end up losing control, hurting himself or anybody else. Thank goodness nobody was hurt. And we're telling you right now, if you're tuning in, thanks for joining us. And I want to get to that. Okay. Okay, I want to get to that. Let's see if we want to. See if I want to get to that carjacking. Well, I could tell you with the suspect speeding up, I could tell you right now is what I'm gonna show as I could get this video. I'm gonna look up the domestic violence suspects, and that I wanted to do a carjacking video that we kept fast forwarding. We're gonna watch domestic violence police chase suspect. Okay, I gotta stop messing around. Come on, Albert, be serious. Take it seriously. Come on now. And those are you noticing who's tuning into my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. And as you can see, this is the suspect they were coming away from the 210 freeway, and I know they're now transitioned onto the 605 freeway southbound. This pursuit started with a carjacking suspect. A domestic violence suspect leads police to Inland Empire and Agua Hills. And the chances is here, well, what's unclear what the agency had. This began with if it was Ontario or Rancho Cucamonga. Ontario uses their helicopter for several departments. Most police helicopters used to do tracking mode, and some news helicopters on national television used to broadcast it live on TV. And we know for the fact that when they're covering the chases, what is it's important to them not to be blocked by restricted airspace like it was before. And then we know for the fact that this suspect was speeding up, not the fact when there's pursuits, sometimes when there's a robbery chase that we just saw today, when we just saw the pursuit today as well. As of, this is the video, traffic had definitely died down 2 years ago on February 14th on a Valentine's Day. There may be some construction traffic. At some point, the way they are driving, they would probably use the right-hand shoulder to get away. They were going to try to lay down some spikes back in Airwaydale. It didn't work. Still reaching speeds at 115 miles an hour. It was too difficult for them to coordinate like that, anything like that. Maybe the suspect gets out of the freeway. Perhaps there will be an opportunity to use the pit maneuver once again. And I can tell you, a spike strip, they would imagine. You can imagine if they try a spike strip. If you imagine that when they broadcasted so many pursuits that they've covered for so many decades, for several years, a lot. I could tell, several years, a lot. They would be working as a news helicopter for about sometimes they're working as a news helicopter reporter, and they've been in a law enforcement police department helicopter working for the police department and picking up the pursuits for the last 13 to 15 years or so. Because for several years, several jurisdictions that we could tell the person is armed and dangerous. It started at this point in the city along here with the CHP seems determined to stick with the unit. Pretty much the whole time. It's unclear if they started or this was quickly handed off. There was a unit on the southbound 605 freeway. We're gonna see what's gonna happen if they cross the 60 freeway or if they get onto that 60 freeway. It's on them. They have pulled the maneuver a lot before they went to that. Some stolen cars, some cars belongs to suspects, outruns the police, speeding up 100 miles an hour. Right hand side, left side, and they're definitely capable, dangerous maneuvers. Cruising along, not driving erratically. He's cruising along at high speeds, 105 miles an hour, doing a good job keeping up with that vehicle. It could be certainly dangerous even with limited choices that night. It was absolutely before then. They're looking at 100 miles per hour. Can you believe that? Well, let's let you listen now. And that pursuit started about 15 minutes ago. Before they tried to set up a spike strip, it didn't work. It did not work. There are a lot of potholes, freeways where there's a construction going on, or when there was a road closed, road right lane closed for accidents. For example, there's an accident, or there was a news crew on the scene. This is a Hyundai Sonata, and we can tell you it's a capable car that could get up to high speeds. And it's common mid-sized car, JD Power, that they are driving, acting like it. This is why trying to get away from the police, speeding at 90 miles an hour, 95 miles an hour, and we might say this using a blinker once again. We're gonna let you listen.
That's not the shoulder, right?
No, that is the carpool lane. Yeah, the southbound 605. Both sides of the 605 have carpool lanes throughout the entire duration of the freeway. You're now being told this is a Hyundai Sonata, and we have heard that this began in the city of Riverside. So, if it began with their police department, or if CHP, it could have been an instance where the victim of the carjacking called this in to the authorities, and then it was put on their radar. Perhaps the CHP cruiser, saw that immediately, and because it is believed to be a potentially violent crime this is one of those ones that they're not going to want to let go of very easily. They're going to want to, take this one as far as it goes, despite the danger to folks out here. So let's see what happens now as the unit, getting over there to the far right, and it might be, it looks like they might be switching out units here. Let's see if that's what they're doing here, or just getting another unit involved in this. So. And it's now Sheriff's 22 who's been on this from the air, handed off from Ontario Police's helicopter. They were the ones that were overhead this to begin with, but it's now in LA County, so it's LA County Sheriff's deputies. We'll see if CHP scrambles their helicopter to get involved in this as well. They will be coming out of Fullerton Airport. Typically, they will get involved unless they're having maintenance issues. They also have a fixed-wing aircraft that is equipped with some pretty good kind of infrared technology, I should say. So we'll see how many resources they decide to devote on this, but we are still flying along the southbound 605 now through Whittier.
Yeah, Desmond, it looks like occasionally we will see that driver use their blinker here. A moment ago, they actually had the right blinker going. It doesn't look like they're actually moving to the right there. But it definitely looks like more CHP officers are now following this vehicle. I think once Desmond had pulled out for a bit, we saw maybe 3 or 4 behind the vehicle, and you can see they're close there, and it looks like they're kind of riding on the side. Normally they're right behind them, so you kind of wonder if they're positioning for a pit, but you wouldn't think they would because of just the high rate of speed right now.
Or maybe they just want that driver to make sure that he can see that there's a lot of law enforcement behind him there. And I'm starting to see, Leslie, I don't know if you noticed too, like traffic's getting a little heavier too. We saw some big rigs, looked a lot more cars here on the freeway. And as Des was telling us, officers are not going to let this one go due to the violent nature of how this all got started, because it's a carjacking suspect who most likely took this car by force, not knowing what kind of weapon they used. But it's serious enough that they're not just going to let this one go. Like we've seen other times when they do something like this.
Yeah, and you can see that car kind of losing control just a little bit as it swerved. But they've covered a lot of ground right now, coming all the way from Riverside, now in Whittier. And they continue to head down the 605 south. So this is a lot of ground in a quick amount of time, given they are going 100 plus miles per hour. And you see them just weaving in and out of traffic here. As you mentioned, Juan, traffic definitely getting heavier now that they're in the LA County area. And it does become more dangerous for those people on the roadways.
And we're seeing larger trucks too. We're seeing big rigs. We just saw that car carrier fully loaded with cars as well. So any quick maneuver by this car going out of control could cause quite a bit of a problem there.
Looks like
on
some
the
construction on the 605 here in that left lane. You can see those cones up.
Entering the cone zone there, Desmond, huh?
Desmond, it looks like this driver...
Go ahead, Des.
It is that time of the evening when Caltrans gets out there on the roadways, to do their kind of typical maintenance work. I believe we're going to be transitioning here to the 5 freeway, it looks like, maybe to get out of that cone zone, which is definitely a fortuitous thing for the workers that are out there. Looks like we're going to be transitioning out to the northbound 5.
Could they pit here if they had a chance, Desmond?
Yeah. I don't think there's really enough room right there. Kind of a little bit too narrow there with the sound wall and that right shoulder guardrail as we now make the transition headed through Downey and up towards Commerce and the East LA interchange. So, out of the construction zone, at least, we'll see if there's any other road work ahead. Looking immediately ahead, I don't see anything that's going to slow the driver down, although we are looking at slower speeds. And we are getting some new information here from the law enforcement. From what we've heard of here, we understand, and we had heard that there was possibly some kind of domestic element to this as well. And we're hearing that the victim is the suspect's girlfriend, and that there is also a warrant out for this suspect's arrest already. So this is
the victim
suspect,
is the girlfriend. The victim
which,
is
kind of
the victim's girlfriend.
Kind of clues
If I have
you
a
in
girlfriend
on why the
whatsoever
suspect is
from
acting
college,
so desperately
not
right
one.
now. Back up to 100 miles an hour, just as I was saying. We were slowing down. Now things beginning to really heat up again here on the 5 freeway, where there could be traffic at any time of day or night. So, again, that's another wrinkle now in all of this with the suspects, the victim being the girlfriend of the suspect, and also outstanding warrants.
Wow.
Now, Des, I know that this is carjacking, but did they say if the victim, the girlfriend, they're possibly in the car, or they believe no one but that one suspect is in that vehicle right now?
We have not heard that part yet. If the suspect is the only one in the vehicle, I would have to imagine that she's not in the vehicle and that she's probably the one that called this in. But we'll have to try to work to confirm those details. But that would be my guess, is that there was some kind of altercation outside of the vehicle. He took the vehicle,
and
she was left outside, and then called the authorities. Yeah, exactly.
And we are seeing a little heavier traffic there, Desmond. You were mentioning we're heading north up towards Commerce. Of course, there's the Commerce Casino. There are the outlet malls there. And every time I go through that area, pretty much traffic does slow down quite a bit. Whether you're heading northbound or southbound, it's just an area that's well populated, a lot more cars, fewer lanes of freeways right there on the 5 freeway. But it looks like he's going still at a brisk speed of anywhere from 80 to 95 miles an hour. And as we've been mentioning, those officers not backing down one bit.
Yeah, I mean, basically, slamming on the gas pedal wherever they get the opportunity to get around some vehicles. And indeed, this section actually of the 5 freeway between East LA and the 605 has been rated as Caltrans as one of, if not the busiest stretches of roadway in the country. So that's, what I mean. You could see traffic at any time, and then if they have road work out here, forget about it. It's definitely going to slow traffic down. Although I don't believe that is the case tonight. We will be up at the 710, though, pretty soon. We're passing by Commerce Casino and the Citadel outlets right now. So we've got the 710, and then a decision to be made at the East LA interchange if they're going to transition to the 5 Golden State Freeway, or the 10, the Santa Monica Freeway, or the 101 towards downtown LA. And, again, this started in Riverside, and this took a very indirect way to get here from Riverside. They didn't come along the 91 or the 60. The suspect went all the way up to the 210, and then, went west and then circled back south, and now we're kind of zigzagging north. So definitely a interesting kind of selection of roadway that we've traveled so far this evening, quite a few miles. And when we start to travel that many miles, you start to wonder how much gas this suspect has in the tank, how long they can keep, doing this. Because this can also be pretty mentally taxing to be driving a vehicle for this long at that high speed.
Yeah, many times we know these suspects just wanting to get away, especially if authorities are saying that this suspect already has a warrant out for his arrest for possibly something else. So at this point, you can see they're just trying to get away here, Des. But I'll tell you, this stretch of roadway, too, with how fast this driver's going, there's a lot of bumps here. There's a lot of potholes now that it has rained. Given that I drive through here every single day, you wonder if that will be something that, slows down this driver.
Right. Yeah, eventually he's going to make it into downtown LA, right, Desmond, if he continues southbound, or he could hit some possible end of evening Valentine's Day traffic in downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah, if they transition to the northbound 101, even up until midnight, you can have a little bit of residual traffic right there at the 4 level, the intersection with the 110. Here's the junction with the 710, that weird one that's on the left. So it looks like they're going to stick with the 5. So, very possible to hit some slowing if they do go up towards, the 101 in downtown Los Angeles. We'll see what happens when we get there. We will be there soon enough. And, you were saying, Leslie, definitely this is not known as being a very pristine, well-kept stretch of roadway. There could be big potholes or anything, or certainly any kind of junk or debris in the roadway at any point. I did want to note that earlier, I kind of got the impression the way that we were seeing CHP moving around, it did almost look like the southbound 605 back through Whittier, like maybe they were trying to get in position for a spike strip, but we did hear them talking about wanting to do that earlier. So, they might be hoping to set something like that up. Again, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to do that with these speeds, but it just all kind of depends on what the suspect's next move is going to be. We're switching between different CHP divisions here as we get from Riverside to Baldwin Park and then East LA, and now we'll be coming into CHP's central area. They are definitely privy to everything going on, and we'll see what, if any, plan they have to get involved with this.
And officers have to keep in mind this could be possibly a heated suspect they're looking at. This is possibly stemming tonight from a domestic dispute of some sort, where we understand the girlfriend of this suspect apparently called police after some sort of altercation. The suspect either took off in this car, whether it's hers or not, we don't know, but it's being considered a carjacking suspect, so I'm guessing it might be her car he took off in, and he's been on the run since Riverside, since the city of Riverside, which is quite a lot of distance to cover in a very short amount of time, going at speeds of anywhere from 80 to even said 130 miles an hour, getting closer now to the downtown LA area. You can see the interchanges right there in the shot, but officers not letting up, and again, the concern is, what do you see there, Leslie?
I was just wondering if he was staying on the 5 here.
Des?
Yes, we are staying on the 5. That center section of roadway, that awful section where the 5 goes down to only 2 lanes, that is where we are getting into right now. It looks like you see the 101 freeway there off to the left, so we're transitioning.
As you can see, the suspect had been on the run from the police for about the pursuit going on for the past 20 minutes or so. And since the police started this chase, the girlfriend of the suspect called the cops in Riverside, and they're not giving up the chase. I could tell they've called off the chase, but they're not calling off. But they have not called off the chase the entire time. Still, now as you see the pursuit as we continue on the, I want to say coming up right now. Still, he's on the eastbound 10 freeway. He was going to head towards the 101 freeway. We might see some heavy traffic right now. As you can see, the suspect eventually speeding up. They're trying to drag this out and trying to get around the cones. Like, he got away from the cones on the left side, got away from the construction work, transitioned onto the northbound 5 freeway, 80, 90 miles an hour. And it got heavy a little bit, I could tell. The units were behind that car on the northbound 5 freeway, transitioned onto the eastbound, westbound 10 freeway. We might know. And he's gonna now heading towards downtown LA. Yeah, southbound 5 freeway and westbound 10 freeway from Boyle Heights. Now he's gonna head towards that Lincoln Heights area. He's gonna head towards the downtown area. What I could tell you, still on the northbound 5 freeway, southbound or northbound, we could tell the suspect speeding up 70, 80 miles an hour. I think they could do a spike strip one more time. They're hearing more details that this began. They've got information that some sort of domestic violence led up to this carjacking in the landmark. Another new detail was, obviously, that is a known person. Sounds like law enforcement agencies following it. They have the name of this person. They've been in the communication with the girlfriend. That's the suspect's girlfriend. If I have a girlfriend, like me, not me, if I have a girlfriend, I would introduce her to my live streaming YouTube channel, if I have one. Right now, I'm still single, because CHP in pursuit of that. I need to concentrate on that. So CHP in pursuit of that car. What we are seeing now was the suspect speeding at 80 miles an hour, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, still not wanting to stop for police. And I could tell this suspect, the driver at that point, and at that point they have decided to call off this chase. And we might know. And as you can see, speeding at 100 miles an hour again. There's an arrest warrant out for him prior to that night, February 14th, 2024. This was adding on to his rap sheet. Warrant was the direct domestic violence order, felony evasion, putting public in danger. If it continues on the northbound 5 freeway, he's going to be near the Dodger Stadium and exit towards Sacramento. And as well, they're in LA and Elysian Valley, Elysian Park. They're going to be heading towards the Dodger Stadium. It's a temporary flight restriction. Like we did that last night. 3 back-to-back police chase videos. Congested area, matter time of day. Traffic always hits around Those are large trucks. It gets when there's nighttime, it's a little light. It's light, it's not heavy. When it's nighttime, light traffic, normal. It could be size when most people doing at 75 miles an hour, or at least 65, 70 miles an hour. They like to do 80 miles an hour. Then slow back down to 75 miles an hour. It doesn't matter which speed that they're on. And I could tell 3 units behind that car, 3 in his pursuit. He may have a gun that we're assuming. We don't know. We do not know that if he has a gun or a handheld weapon gun, then he might be armed with a carjacking. There may be just those units, 3 units, and the police helicopter with the night sun overhead with the spotlight, news helicopters overhead. Still, they're following overhead, heading towards the Glendale, coming up the 134 freeway pretty soon. We've seen 100-mile-an-hour chase, and I can tell you, before we went on air, it was 130 miles an hour. Like the motorcycle did, 130, 140 miles an hour. Yesterday, the first one, the second one was the carjacking, 2 carjackings near LAX. Third one was the dirt bike pursuit that we did last night, yesterday. And at this point, as it gets busy for everyone and for everybody, everybody's home on Valentine's. It was Valentine's Day. It's past Valentine's Day. 1 month had passed. 1 month passed. It's over. They do it once a year, every year in February. And I could tell. And the 5 freeway northbound, as it gets sticking up again and again. In the Glendale area, that I could tell. Getting closer to that area in Glendale. Northbound 5 freeway, airships of the police air units following overhead. From their vantage point as well, they're watching. I could tell. Last they heard it was LA County Sheriff's helicopter that was involved in the pursuit. And they haven't heard if CHP was going to get their helicopter ready. I guess it's still LA Sheriff's helicopter cruising along at 60 miles an hour, slowing down right now. I could tell you, speeding at 70 miles an hour plus, covering the air with the LA County Sheriffs. In most hours of the day and nights and days, most news helicopters cover the air when it's on national television. For sometimes when there's interrupted program for a special announcement, hey, there's a pursuit going on, there's a robbery, there's a police chase pursuit going on. They're gonna try to set up a spike strip again. And there has been an opportunity for a pit maneuver, but they didn't do it at the side of these speeds. If they get off there for a day, or they would, for the pursuit, they've continued on the northbound 5 freeway. I thought it was going to head towards the 10 freeway, but transitioned onto once again, northbound 5 freeway, 75 miles an hour. It was coming from the Riverside area, as they wonder how much gas, and it's full of tank, almost empty. It could go a little miles. 95 miles an hour, transitioning onto 134 freeway, getting off the freeway, 134 freeway, westbound, crossing underneath. Now, as you can see, the suspect, thank goodness they didn't head towards the TFR Dodger Stadium. Thank goodness they didn't head towards the Dodger Stadium. Thank goodness, like it did TFR Dodger Stadium. We watched the beautiful downtown LA, Los Angeles area near the TFR Dodger Stadium. The police helicopter were following overhead of that motorcycle, and I know for the fact they were headed towards. And then continuing westbound here, crossed underneath the 5 freeway, the Burbank area, and then in the studio Toluca Lakes, continuing westbound for quite a distance. Believe the next freeway will be 121 freeway, either north or the southbound which one he might take at this point. It's going to be his opportunity. Keeps running the clock, running the mock, and I can tell you, he's just going and going, swerving in and out of lanes. Spike strips overhead. They did see him pass someone on the motorcycle, and I hope they're paying attention, because still at speeding at 85 miles an hour, what we could tell you, the car has much given in. He was swerving in and out of the fast lanes, and I could tell that this truck, I would say, they are seeing any obvious signs of problems with the tires, drifting from lane to lane at 85 miles an hour, 89 miles an hour, almost 90 miles an hour from their vantage point there. We could say and from their vantage point, they do wonder if the suspect may be on the phone talking to somebody hands-free. They might be talking to somebody hands-free, making hands-free calls while driving. Like for example, Mobile E's hands-free Bluetooth kit, car phone. That could happen when there's a, it recognizes your Bluetooth equipped cell phone now passing towards downtown LA. It lets you have 3 dings: set up, phone pairing, and pair. 3 dings you could make, and once the green light is on, you could make hands-free calls while driving. I would buy 2005 Lincoln models, used 2005 Lincoln Town Cars, LS, Aviator, Navigator Town Car. I would have to order it from the Ford store. Mobile E's Bluetooth hands-free equipped cell phone. If I would ask somebody, if I get my license to drive there, I would be able to have it while driving. And spike strip for a pit maneuver, the opportunity presents itself. When we saw the Lincoln Navigator, when I first saw the Lincoln Navigator, it had lots of it. THX navigation, Sirius satellite radio, 130 channels, 156 channels. Well, we believe that's a good SUV, $50,000 for that. And now you could get that you could put the parts back, attach the Mobile E's hands-free Bluetooth, you'll have it all together. Hands-free dialing, Sirius satellite radio, 156 commercial-free channels. If I look for it, if I get lots of interest, have lots of money to buy it, I'll be rich. And you know what? It has a THX navigation system, parking sensors, and a parking tow trailer that we have. And we're gonna, anyway, the police have the girlfriend contact with him. Hey, stop, good news, despite the amount, speeding at 92, 94, or 96 miles an hour. And they haven't seen car accidents. Most of it, when they lose control of that vehicle, they could have car accidents. Like, for example, you lose control, you pick up speed too much, you ended up car crashing somebody in the guardrail, you burned yourself in that fire, put yourself in that picture situation whatsoever, it would remain closed. Like, we have that big rig caught on fire just moments ago. No. We have the big rig caught on fire just several days ago. It was over several weeks ago. We could tell that, I'm assuming. If you're checking out that video, please that video pops up as well. Check that out. It's a good time. Still on the northbound 101. He's got on the northbound 101 freeway in Sherman Oaks, headed towards downtown LA. 105 miles an hour, speeding up once again. And as I know, the map gets kind of little bit funky. 1-1 northbound, 101 northbound freeway, a little bit distracted, slowing down at 75 miles an hour. Blinkers from officers being behind them. See the reflection of blue, red lights, meaning the officers still behind that car. Few moments, if there's information, there might be getting it from law enforcement, learning from it. It brings up to date as well. Clearly, that's a big possibility they do. They haven't heard CHP's helicopters. So it doesn't sound like they will be involved. They will be launching in. I'm so assuming sheriff's deputies 22 on the pursuit. They'll stick to that. They'll stick with this car. 60 miles an hour plus 70 miles an hour, 69 miles an hour, I could tell. Crossing the 405 freeway, crossing the 405 freeway. If they're gonna transfer to Ventura County CHP, many different divisions. Now at this point, speeds erratic, good. They were like high for slowing down to 55, slammed on the gas, going 95 miles an hour. Slammed on the brakes, and strange behavior. Sometimes they see these suspects with courtesies, with blinkers. Other times not using them, and they're showing a state of mind. 94 miles an hour, but there's been no pattern to where they have been driving. Basically, keeps hitting new freeways. Once again, not hit any car before they have not crossed the 405 freeway yet, east of the 405 freeway. Oh my God! Cutting over the last second, try to get over to that 134 freeway like he was just moments ago. Realized the off-ramp was divided. Sparks were flying, speeds slowing down at 50 miles an hour. In Encino, northbound 101 freeway, US northbound 101 freeway. He could have had a flat tire, I'm assuming, I think it is. 45 miles an hour, they're going to do a pit maneuver. You could do that, they could do that. Exit Van Nuys, but it didn't work. Let's listen.
So, did that affect this car at all? As I double in, the tires on this side still look like they're okay. We'll see if we get the opportunity to look at the other side at some point now as we have crossed the 405. So now we are headed towards the west San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, things definitely slowing down. Take a look. This is what you saw just moments ago. The car not seeing that shoulder there, that divider there, I should say. All the sparks came up. You saw from under the carriage of that car.
That's like hitting a curb, right? That's just as high as a curb.
Yeah. At, 80 miles per hour probably, and scraping that curb for a good couple feet. You see the car now definitely slowing down. You wonder if they will do the pit. Looks like they're going to pit here.
Here we go.
On the freeway, look at that. Wow, they actually did it. That's only the fourth time I've ever seen it happen. They were telling us that the front right tire was damaged, and CHP decided to take the opportunity there with the tire tread coming off, and they pitted them on the freeway. A very, very rare maneuver, and now coming in with all the various units. So CHP, but they're not giving up. Look at that. And now taking off. You see the damage to the rear done from that pit maneuver. But the suspect, in desperation, continues. How much longer can this vehicle continue now? They're down to 3 tires. It looked like I saw the tire tread come off of that front right tire, so we might just be on a rim on the front passenger side. But the suspect still refusing to yield. There's I believe that's the officer that did the pit maneuver. We'll see what CHP decides to do next. Now this bumper flailing. Flailing in the wind right here. This could detach at any moment and become a hazard for somebody. So we'll see how long that bumper can hang on. But boy, things just took a very dramatic turn here within the last couple of minutes between going up on the curve.
Well, here's the pit one more time. We're showing our viewers this happening just a short time ago. Desmond telling us in all his time up in SkyCal, this is only the 4th time they've seen officers do a pit maneuver on a freeway at these speeds. And as you see there, that tire tread just to the left of the car there, just falling right off. And for a second we thought, Leslie, that was it.
Yeah, you think the car can't go anymore, right? You saw the big chunk of that tire thread just completely fall off. You wouldn't think the car could keep going, but you see the back bumper there, as Des was describing, pretty much just trailing behind this Hyundai here, Hyundai Sonata. We know
Hyundai Sonata.
Front right
That is it.
Front right driver tire there. We wonder, is it even there? What's left of it?
Well, we're thinking it's a rim, right? And there's still 3 good tires we assume that this driver can still stay on. And my guess is, Desmond, with 3 tires, that rim can go for a little longer, right? Because we're not seeing any sparks, coming up off that rim.
Yeah, it definitely can. I mean, we've seen it so many times where, pit maneuver or rather spike strip. Oh, that's going to be it, right? And then no, it's actually going to continue for a while if the suspects, really want to push it that far, where we could see it going, metal on asphalt and sparks flying all over the place, and could even continue for another dozen miles or so after that, depending on the vehicle and how sturdy those rims are. I mean, we've even seen suspects continue when it basically gets down to the brake caliber. We're kind of locked into this position right now for spacing with other aircraft, but we'll see if there might still be a little bit of rubber on that front passenger side tire. But we did see quite a bit of tire tread come off at the end of that pit maneuver, and not only that, but this hazard in waiting with this bumper that is now hanging on. So despite all that, I thought for sure we were going to see some hands coming out the window or whatever, and the suspect decided that they were not done yet, and so we continue. So pretty open roadways here, and we'll just see if CHP wants to try another pit maneuver if they get the opportunity. But again, that was such a rare thing. I'd be surprised if we see it again.
It's crazy to see this because that entire back bumper is
just
being dragged by the car, just holding on by a tiny portion on the right side of that vehicle. And we are getting a better look at this right side because we believe that front tire, we saw a lot of the tread come off, so you wonder how much of it is left there. But it's incredible sometimes that these cars can still go 70 plus miles per hour with just 3 good tires. And a bumper hanging on.
And I'm guessing this bumper is also dragging on the freeway, making loud noises, which also adds to just the intensity, the adrenaline level of this driver here. One for a domestic violence incident earlier today in the city of Riverside.
Earlier tonight, weirdo.
Police
are you thinking your own head?
The suspect
News reporters.
we believe is the girlfriend's car. And took off
That belongs to that suspect's girlfriend.
Distance.
Huh.
We're saying, Leslie, about 75 miles away from Riverside. And this driver has a warrant out for his arrest on another incident. So we're talking about the domestic violence incident from tonight, the arrest warrant from prior incident, and now the pursuit and the carjacking, and who knows what he did to take this car by force.
Yeah, and the desperation level, you can just see it here. The pit maneuver was done. You thought the car wasn't going to be able to go anymore, but the driver decided they were going to keep going. At this point, we have only seen this driver stick to the freeways right now on 101 North in Woodland Hills, about 75 miles away from where this all started in Riverside. You wonder, you can see CHP is behind him because, as you mentioned, you do see
the pursuit keeps going. It kept going and going straight for about 25 minutes since the police started this chase. Now it's been going on for about 30 to 35 minutes.
That's right.
Since they've started this chase. And as you can see,
this is really what slowed down
sparks was flying. Slowed down this pursuit. They did a pit maneuver and was unsuccessful, speeding at 70 miles an hour. And I don't even think he could go much longer. 100 miles an hour. The tire fell off. Whoa! Wow. Damage done to that bottom of the car. Slowed down to at least 37 miles an hour. Now it keeps going at 56 miles an hour. Dangerous suspect. Great time for the officers to do that pit maneuver right this minute. Now it's been going on for about 40 to 45, 50 This pursuit has been going on for about 40 to 45, 50 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. This pursuit had been going on for about 40 to 45 to 50 minutes or so. We see the suspect speed up now a little bit, driving slow at 60 miles an hour, driving like an old man or a woman. It's a male suspect, I could tell. They're going to continue following this here until it comes to an end, until it comes to an abrupt end, until it comes to a halt. Small section. Let's listen. We're going to listen still.
That officers did, and for a minute, as we were saying, we thought this was going to bring it all to an end, but it's almost like the driver, right, looked at the officers, saw that they weren't coming at him right away, and he took a chance, and here he is once again.
Took off. Yeah, you're going to see when he hits that embankment there, doesn't see it, no. And the bottom of that car completely just skids past. You see, that is when the pit maneuver happens. The perfect timing by CHP on the 101 there. That driver, you'll see the front tire there loses
fall
tread.
Right off.
Yeah, and then it just keeps going.
And go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Des, I know you got a good look at that front tire, Des. Did you, were you able to see if it was riding on a rim there?
It looked like there was just the tiniest sliver of rubber that might have been hanging on the inner part of the rim. I think that's the only thing that's preventing us from seeing any sparks now at this point, but I would not be surprised to start seeing those sparks flying really at any moment now on this. So, you just wonder how much longer this can continue as we now get ready to leave the San Fernando Valley at a couple of the last exits here, getting into West Hills and Calabasas, and then we'll be headed towards Agoura and Ventura County. And, as you were saying, Leslie, really CHP, they are pretty much the best. I think that bumper just finally gave up there. So hopefully, CHP, and again, that's why they run with multiple units so that they can stop and they can pick that up so that doesn't become a hazard for anyone. But, you just see how well trained CHP officers are for situations like this. To my knowledge, all CHP officers are pit trained, and pretty much every pit maneuver I've seen done, by a CHP officer is about as textbook as it can be. But, even accounting for that, that doesn't... you still have the kind of the X factor of the mental state of the suspect if they want to continue doing this, and indeed they've decided that they do despite the condition of the vehicle. But the suspect better be careful, because once we start to see those sparks flying like that, we've seen vehicles overheat and catch fire.
Yeah.
So the longer that it continues on a bump tire, and then especially once you're metal on asphalt, it really becomes a dangerous situation for the suspect. So how far do they want to take it? It seems like they want to take it to at least Ventura County, because we will be there within the next 5 minutes.
And hard to believe, Desmond, we're watching your map tracker there. He's at Parkway Calabasas already in the San Fernando Valley, covering such an incredible amount of distance. How far will the air units and how far will these ground units go? Will they eventually pass it off to another agency? Because we're definitely far away from Riverside. We're far away from the San Gabriel Valley. What's usually the technique they use to continue this pursuit?
They'll definitely hand it off to other divisions of the CHP on the ground. They've actually already done that several times since this began in Riverside, and then it went into various offices like Baldwin Park, where we heard this picked up, and then East LA, and then CHP's Central Division, and then the West Valley Division, which we're in right now. So there we go, getting some sparks, starting to get some sparks now. We'll see if we can work it over to the right-hand side to see more of those, but you can see now how, just like I said, now we're starting to really see the metal making that heavy friction and a lot of heat with the cement there of the roadway. So we'll see how the suspect is able to handle that. As for the air, the LA County Sheriff's Deputy's helicopter overhead should still have quite a bit of gas in the tank. They picked it up right about what we did, and if they had a full tank, I would estimate that they should have at least another 45 minutes left before they have to break off, but I'm not sure if they had a full tank when they took off. So we'll see how that plays out from the air. But it should be a fairly straightforward thing, handing this off to CHP and Ventura County.
Yeah, Desmond,
Wait, stop!
We're starting to see the back blinkers blinking. There's that bulb that usually lights the license plate, which is now, been ripped off with the bumper as well. That looks like it's kind of blinking as well. So it's just a matter of time, I guess, is we've already seen a few sparks coming from that rim, that front passenger side rim on the car. I'm guessing any change to the freeway, if he hits perhaps a pothole, or if he hits any sort of debris,
guys,
that could change things again. But right now, we're not seeing any of those sparks again.
Yeah, it's kind of peculiar there. No, we did just see a couple of sparks, and now we're not at the moment. I mean, they could just come and go at any moment. But we have seen decidedly slower speeds. I mean, the suspect did try to get it up to 80 miles an hour briefly, but now we're getting down between kind of 40 and 50 miles an hour. So now you're starting to wonder, if this is the vehicle just basically deciding I've had it. Well, now we're starting to see some smoke, and oh boy, are they coming in for another pit? They might be. Let's see if they look like they were kind of getting in position. Now look at that. Now we're getting the sparks and the smoke starting to come off from this vehicle. So right on cue, just as you were saying there, Juan. So look, this suspect pushing this hard, and this car as hard as it will go to try to get up to the speed limit. I can tell you, though, if CHP is going to try a pit maneuver, now at this point they're probably going to wait, because we're coming into a construction zone for that wildlife crossing that they're building on the 101 in the Agoura Hills area at Lost Hills. And this is that time of night where they take to the roadway to work on that project. So we will be passing through that soon. Not sure if any work is happening tonight, but we will be headed through that road work area soon. And then we'll see what CHP does after that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Our Pat Harvey joining us now to continue this breaking news story here, a carjacking pursuit that started in the city of Riverside, Pat, now in the Agoura Hills, Malibu area on the 101 northbound, covering quite a bit of distance here. We've seen the car hit an embankment, some sparks fly, we've seen a pit maneuver, and now this pursuit continues.
And as you said, Juan, it's already in the Agoura Hills, Malibu area. You wonder if it'll go through Dez's Hood and Ventura, or possibly head up to Santa Barbara if they have enough fuel to do that. Just wondering what the damage to this vehicle, as you and Dez have been talking about, with sparks flying. Down on, 3 tires? Lost 1 tire? Or down on the rim? Just how far it can go? This is a Hyundai Sonata. And I heard you all talk about how important not the search, but the pursuit for law enforcement is, because this is a carjacking suspect. Yeah. He also has a felony warrant.
That's right, Pat. And we're going to be wrapping up our coverage here on KCAL News in just a moment here. If you want to continue following this pursuit, Pat Harvey and our Desmond Shaw, they're going to continue the very latest on this carjacking suspect pursuit happening right now in the San Fernando Valley.
And we'll be coming up on KCAL News on Channel 2 momentarily on KCBS. So if you can turn the dial to Channel 2, we'll be on Channel 2. And I believe Desmond is going to get resituated there. You are watching KCAL News at 11 on CBS Los Angeles, and we do have breaking news for you. CHP is in pursuit of a carjacking suspect. That carjacking suspect also has a felony warrant out for his arrest. We understand that this person carjacked a vehicle that we believe belonged to his girlfriend, and she possibly called this in. This started in the city of Riverside, and now, as you can see there, it is way past. It's in Agoura now, and he's still heading northbound on the 101 freeway. So no telling where this could end up. He could end up going on the 26th, going to Moore Park, or continuing on to Ventura. But you have to wonder just how far this car can go. We know CHP is behind. I believe the sheriff's deputies are overhead in the chopper, but we have Desmond Shaw, who is live at SkyCal, who could give us more information. Des?
Yeah, Pat, boy, we sure have covered a lot of distance here, and it does seem like this car might be deciding that it has had enough, as we know that they're down to only, oh boy, we're coming in with another pit maneuver, another pit attempt. 2 in one night here. So the 4th and 5th time I've ever seen it. Let's see if they're going to try to pin him in right here. Indeed, they smash him right in the front and up against a pole right there. They said no more of this. Enough is enough. They want to get this person into custody. CHP not messing around on this one. On the northbound 101 as we come through Agoura Hills, they just came right up and just nabbed this person. Wow. It's so rare to see that. To come up and put themselves in harm's way. They must have known that the suspect did not have a weapon. They did not waste any time rushing up, yanking the suspect out of the vehicle, and now in handcuffs.
You know what? Wow, Desmond, this was pretty incredible to watch here. You wonder, maybe if they were on the phone with the girlfriend, maybe she possibly gave them information saying that he didn't have a weapon. But look, they just, as you say, did another pit maneuver and just went up and pulled this person out of the car, having enough. Enough is enough, and that's your CHP for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we always say that CHP tends to be the most aggressive with these situations, and they just showed it with not one but 2 pit maneuvers. We had wide open roadway. There were very few cars on the road, a lot of asphalt. The suspect was only at about 30 or 35 or 40 miles an hour, so they made that calculated decision. Let's make another attempt to bring this to an end. Fortunately, the vehicle spun around and there was no opportunity for the suspect to get away as they got kind of pinned between this light pole right here, and they moved in with their own vehicle, pinned them in, and then to rush out like that. And just like that, we go from, what was turning into a slow speed pursuit to a code 4 situation. They are now giving this the all clear. No one else is in the vehicle, and this carjacking and domestic violence suspect that came out of Riverside is now in CHP custody.
You know what? It was almost like a boxing match with vehicles. They decided, okay, we're going to punch you right back. And that's exactly what they did, right, Daz? After they did that pit maneuver, they just pushed that vehicle up against that pole there. And as you said, probably didn't believe that this person had a weapon because they were super aggressive and just continued until, and even going up to the car and just opening up the door and snatching that person out of the vehicle. Desmond, we want to show our viewers the first pit maneuver, and if you can describe this. I believe this was in Encino when this happened, right, at Havenhurst?
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
yeah,
there we have
right.
it.
Yeah, that very first one.
Wow.
Yeah, that first one there, and that was, where we saw that they could tell that the vehicle was having trouble being only on the 3 tires, and they decided to take that opportunity as there were not a lot of vehicles. I think they had a unit that was most likely running a traffic brake behind them so that they could keep, the public out of harm's way, and they used that opportunity for the first pit maneuver. Of course, then the suspect decided to take off. They lost some tire tread. They also had the bumper flailing for several miles after that. But it was clear that between the suspect hitting the curb and then that first pit maneuver, that some significant damage was definitely done to the vehicle, and that they were not going to be able to continue for too much longer, at least not at very high speeds. And now here as we get into Agoura Hills, near the Canaan exit, that is where they decided to do it again, and the second time was a charm for CHP tonight.
All right, and Desmond, as you mentioned, called code 4, and that is what we have. All right, thank you for that, Desmond.
All right. Anyway, I'm wrapping up, taking notes of that pursuit. It went on for a better part of an hour and 60 minutes. 55 minutes, 60 minutes, 55 to 60 minutes to an hour now. That has been going on. It went kept driving slow at normal speeds. How much more could his car take? That car couldn't take it no more, because that car could not take it no more. The CHP can't take it no more. Did a pit maneuver, didn't waste no time yanking that suspect out of that car. They weren't playing around. This pursuit came to an end of that stolen car. That wife or the girlfriend, I should say, was on the phone with the suspect, talking to him, begging the boyfriend to stop. Didn't care. And I could tell he crashed that car. Code 4 also handcuffed the suspect, yanked the individual out. driving slow at 50 miles an hour earlier on. The pursuit races on and on for several more miles. We could tell you when you hit the car at when you scraped off an off-ramp to a transition freeway, you could lose one tire easily. That could happen instantly. Easily, you can't let that car go much longer and longer for that. They can't let that car go much longer and longer than that. It cannot go much longer. And I could tell you, sparks were flying earlier on, slowed down to at least 40 miles an hour. It hit an embankment earlier on, and aggressive maneuvers at high speeds. A couple more minutes later, slow motion out that pit maneuver of that car. It came to an end. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. We'll see you guys later. Bye.